Hi Aries, this is your general tarot reading for Aries, Sun, Moon and Ascendant or Rising sign for the month of June. So Aries, let's have a look to see what the energies are saying and what the cards are saying. We'll shuffle these cards until we have the right ones coming out just for you. And let's talk about the big themes. There's a few things going on, so I'll try my best to encapsulate it all for you. As two cards come out. First one is the Wheel of Fortune, of course. The second one is the Hanged Man. And I understand those. We'll talk about them in a moment. There is, look, another major arcana, the Fool, but that's actually a good card. And then the Three of Wands. Laying them down here, Aries, until we have everything that we need, okay? So, we begin with the Moon in the 9th house and the Sun in the 3rd house. Some of you could be finishing up a long period of study in a college or university or so on like that, as the 10 of Wands comes out. Yeah, maybe that was a bit of a burden for you. You're finishing it up and you might have some exams to do. And don't panic, you have the Sun and you have Mercury in the 3rd house of being able to communicate very well, sharing information. But there will be a point for you, Aries, that you'll feel that you've got an information overload. Your head is just crammed full to the brim of possible answers, possible decisions, possible ideas, possible thoughts. Where do I begin? Don't sweat it. You have all the info you need, and if you relax, you have the Sun and Mercury ready to just switch you on and let those words or those things you're writing flow. So for those finishing study and doing exams, it's a great period for you to make that a good one. And I wish you the best of luck if that's you, Aries. For everybody else, there is a period of coming away from a long period of deep thought or deep study in your own private world, trying to master something, trying to harness very deep wisdom about some particular subject. And you are not forced, that's too harsh. You are invited to really get in with the energy of June, which is about coming away from the long thoughts and the long studies and trying to always see the big picture and get down deep and dirty with the real people out there. Get back involved with your society, with culture. Meet friends, get back face to face, meeting people. If you've been hiding or sheltering yourself away in a corner because you had some very important thing to focus your mind on, then that information is going to be useless unless you can share it effectively. And June is giving you the skill to share that effectively, my love. I know, because a great many of you are really, really focused on your career and your future and so on like that, and trying to shape your career into something very rewarding. Some of you could be working on websites, writing, publishing, public speaking. And there will be the moment in June where you have to actually get out there, put your beautiful Aries face in front of them all and start. And you know, give yourself a break, Aries, if you have to do that. If you have to put your first foot out into the world and talk about something very deep, then you're just beginning. You don't have to be perfect. Just give yourself a break. See the humor in it. Gemini is light. Gemini is humor. Gemini will laugh. But certainly Gemini has the brilliant skill of being able to diffuse heavy emotions and heavy situations and heavy thoughts by rapid words, by getting them out there and sharing them. And in that way, some of the weight and gravitas is taken away from them so that you can see them easier. And like I said, lighter, with a better sense of humor. Humor, baby. You got to have humor this month. You got to get your brilliant Aries wit going so that you can share your wisdom in a way that people are prepared to listen, you know. Now let's talk about a few other energies that are happening as the Four of Wands comes out. A few energies that are happening. This is Aries, how do we say this? This is a big, grand, Venus in Aries, we say. Well, Venus is moving into Leo on June 13th, and some of you could be making great big declarations of love around the 13th when Venus moves into a fellow fire sign, the same as you. Some of you, because I know it's the June new moon, this is traditionally when people get married in the Northern Hemisphere. Some of you could be making that big declaration, having a commitment with somebody and falling in love, being open to new love, being open to that whole gorgeous experience of being romanced to the highest. I love that, Aries. I hope it's wonderful for you. Now, what else do we have going on? Yeah, here's something I want to talk about. There's 2 more retrogrades happening this month, and that's Neptune and Mars, your ruler. So the first thing I want to say to you is that when Mars retrogrades, he's retrograding in your 11th house of your future plans, your dreams, your goals, where you see yourself. You know, you're putting yourself out there this month, Aries, and you're working with technology, you're working with the internet somehow too, and you want to communicate very well and very clearly into your future. But yet, something seems to happen. The energy that was going into your future plans suddenly begins to slow down, and it seems like it's going backward. And all the work you've been putting in for a long time now, particularly since December, there'll be a moment in June where you go, wait, I can't see my vision anymore. I can't see my dream anymore. I used to be able to just close my eyes and look, and I'd have this great vision, even psychic vision, even great illuminations of the mind. You were able to picture it. And in June, there'll be a moment where it'll be like, I can't see it anymore. I'm panicking. I've lost it. I've lost my vision for the future. And what will happen, Aries, that this will come exactly at the point when Neptune is going retrograde in your 12th house, where you'll feel that you're moving backwards and going back into a nothingness. You felt, you were this beautiful fish moving upstream finally, and then in June it'll be like, I was making such great headway and I've lost my direction completely. I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know where I'm going, and I'm moving backwards. And it all seemed like just a dream. It's gone. My dream is gone. This is exactly the moment, Aries, where you recognize that that's not what's happening. What's happening is that you are being asked to come back a little bit, take a few steps back, so you don't make any mistakes as you're rushing towards your future. Because your future is there. You're shaping it. You're making it happen. It's there. And it's a bright future. And you can see it. But it's saying, don't be in such a rush to get to that point. Slow down and learn how to do it in style. Big thing. Develop your style. Develop a style of speaking. Develop a style of communicating. Develop a style if you're branding something on the internet. Develop it. And put all your energy into taking a few steps back, which seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? But that is very important now. Take that energy, go with it as it's asking you to take a few steps back, because the point is that it wants you to get everything perfect. Now, I will say this, when the big lightning strike happened for you in May, when Uranus moved into the 2nd house of finances and your self-esteem and self-worth, June could also be a very strange month where when you panic about feeling insecure about your future, not being able to see your vision and feeling like you're losing it and going backwards, this is the moment, Aries, where somebody might challenge you in order to try to push you back. because I get the sense that as this card comes out, the Seven of Pentacles, I get the sense that as you, like the fish, swimming up the stream now, that people are starting to notice you. They're seeing you. You're mysterious. They haven't seen Aries in a long time because you've been held back for so many years. And now here you're arriving and you're getting people's attention. You're being seen, you're being noticed, but you're moving quietly. But they can't help but see the glimmer of your beautiful shininess coming up through the water surface. And they panic. They panic. And what do you think they'll do? Because they fear you, because they fear you're now rising up with all this great insight and wisdom and a direction in your life, they fear that you might grow in a way that makes them feel less than. Okay? So what they will do is they will become like a fisherman, and they will stand at the riverbank and they'll wait for you to come along. And because there'll be a moment where you might feel a little bit insecure and uncertain and you might be swimming in circles, that they'll say this is a great opportunity to catch them. And they'll throw bait and a hook in because they'll see you as just shark bait. And they are sharks in whatever field, in whatever arena that you're trying to open up yourself into. And like I said, they won't be able to, they'll panic because you're too good, but you don't see that yet. You don't know yet how good you are. You don't know how skilled you are yet. You still think that you're just learning. You don't know how far you've come, Aries. You don't yet have the gauge on it, but they do. They see it. And they will panic. So like I said, when they see you rising, they'll know you're passing them. And they're too frickin' egotistical and dumb, and many of them have actually reached the limit of their mind. They've already reached the limit of their skills, the limit of their talents, and they're stale, and they can't go past that little glass barrier, but you can. And they realize that before you break through and move on past them, they have to snag you. And what they'll do is they'll bait you by throwing something in that you'll bite. And what will you bite? They'll say that you're insecure, that you're no good, that you're not smart enough, you don't know what you're talking about, what you're doing is shit, that they'll throw little things in and say, oh, you think you know everything about X, Y, and Z. Well, do you know this thing? And it'll be so obscure and random that you'll say, I don't know that. I didn't realize I had to know that. And they'll just go, see, Aries might think they're the shit, but they don't actually know what they're doing. You've just uncovered yourself. You've revealed yourself as somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. There are assholes in this world, Aries, that will do this shit. And you must recognize that they are jealous of you, that they fear you, that they recognize that you don't know yet just quite how good you are. And before you do come to that realization, they want to capture you and take you out of the competition stream. And I know that sounds awful, the Page of Wands, but you know what? It's a subtle thing. This isn't going to be something that just, it's like a big blah, blah, blah in your life. It'll be very subtle. But it's a lesson that you really need to know, because these people will come and try to bait you into maybe exposing your weaknesses and making you angry. That's the thing. They want to make you angry, to make you look like a fool. And you can't bite. You just can't bite and go with it. Because if you get angry and if you take the bait, they'll have won. Their jealousy will have won. Them being in a position of fear, but yet wanting you to feel even more fearful than them. Take the bait and they win, baby. So keep your head down, keep your kind of mind focused, and keep your words clear, and keep them informative, and keep them witty and light and bright, and do not engage with people who are trying to bait you into an argument or bait you into something. Because right now, because you don't see your absolute true value like they see, you might feel that you've made a fool of yourself in some way, and it'll just feed insecurities even more. Okay, Aries, so watch that. And again, I don't want that to sound heavy or mean or awful. It's just a subtle thing. It's just a subtle thing, but it means a lot. Okay, so we have a few cards coming out as we finish talking about the energies. We have the Six of Pentacles. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Nine of Wands. We have the Star. I love that. And we have Aries card. I love that. Getting your hope and vision back at the end, and it's fueled by Mars. Yes, you see, this is why I spend so much time talking about the energies before the reading, because it's the way to understand what the frickin' hell is going on, you know, and it'll be always reflected in the cards. So, Aries, hopefully, again, we have figured out how to do this. You should, ta-da, be seeing the general overview of the spread. And now, let's get to it. Let's read these damn cards. So we open Aries with the Wheel of Fortune. A great cycle is turning. Things are changing. You are on the up. Didn't I tell you? You're moving upstream. And the Wheel of Fortune is let's call it karma. Karma always turns, and karma is now, let's say it's doubling back a little bit with all the retrogrades that are happening this month. It's bringing you back to tidy up some old karma that hasn't really been sprayed, polished and cleaned up. And that's everything I spoke about, not taking the bait from people who see you essentially as a threat to them. And going back a little bit to release that karma, that fear that other people know more than you, or other people are more capable than you. Because most of the time, the people who claim to know more than you or claim to be better than you, they're just all talk. They're all bullshit, you know, making themselves look better. And the truth of it is now you have to go back and relearn this month, how to stay confident and secure when others are trying to make you feel less than or insecure. You know? And so it's a little bit of going back and cleaning up old karma. But when this wheel turns back around again, which it will, you will have just mastered this, baby. And you'll be able to move forward into your future so much better. But I'll say this too, this month luck is on your side. This is a card of luck. So if anybody is trying to hook you, you might have a few lucky breaks, a few lucky escapes, and like I said, luck is on your side. So don't panic the energy that I'm talking about. Don't panic that. Beside the Wheel of Fortune is the Hanged Man, the one who sacrifices, the one who realizes he has to surrender a bunch of stuff, as Neptune again on the 18th of June going retrograde in the 12th house. You have to allow that feeling, like I said, of not being able to see your future path, panicking that you don't know where you're going, and feeling that I'm going backwards and I'm going back into the sea where everything is so undefined and it's so big and I get lost in this place. Go with it. Surrender that process, because the energies want you to go back a bit so that when you come back upstream again, you're building your muscles. Every time, like a fish, you swim upstream, you have to fight hard against things. And then you get pushed back, and then you swim up again. And every time you're pushed back and swim up again, you're getting stronger, faster, better able to navigate through the rocks and the currents. And that's what this is. Consider June like a cosmic keep fit class. It's a bitch of a class. and it will have you working out. But by the time you're finished, you are going to be hot. You're going to be super fine, super fit, and super ready. Super ready, you know? And again, just to say this is the card of sacrificing some things, sacrificing some old habits, some old beliefs, some old attachments, and allowing yourself to surrender to this karmic process, to the karmic keep fit class. Surrender to it. And once he does, do you see this? He's hanging out there, you know? He didn't fall. This is not, you know, he wasn't walking across the tree and then fell and ended up like this. This was no accident. He purposely put himself there so that he could attain wisdom and enlightenment. And that is the energy you recognize in June, or at least the cosmos recognizes in June, that it's no use having all this stuck in your head, all this wisdom and knowledge about whatever it is that you're good at. No point having it there, that you have to sacrifice it and bring it out for the public to see. But look, the Fool card is next. There will be a moment where you'll feel like a beginner. This is a new opportunity. It's a new beginning. You're taking a leap of faith and diving in, and dive in, swim with the currents. And then when the currents are too hard and push against you, have the sense to know to fall back. You've got to get used to this and build those muscles, but certainly keep coming back. But with a sense that you trust that what's happening is exactly the right thing for you to do. Whatever's happening for you in May, there is a moment where you recognize that you're giving up your old life in some way and you're trusting what's new. You're trusting what's coming, and he's really happy and lighthearted, and that's you in June too, happy and lighthearted about everything that's about to unfold for you. And the trick again always with this card is to feel like the Fool, which is somebody who's playful, trusting, and innocent in some way, which you can be, Aries, because you do follow your heart, and you follow, we always say Aries has the direct and divine connection, that you have the mind of God who speaks energetically directly to you. So that's why you trust things so much. Why other people might call you naive, you say, well, no, I actually trust because I have this great connection with what I'm supposed to be doing. And when it comes to the point where people are trying to bait you and are trying to make you look like a fool, remember that you are only beginning to really grow and flex your self-esteem muscles. You are only beginning on this journey of making new money in your life too. So give yourself a break and don't feel like a fool, you know? And I keep saying this, there are people out there who will try to make you feel like a fool. They're the fool. They're the fools because they fear you. Now, here's you being very inspiring. The three of Wands, communicating your desires and passions with people, but inspiring people too. A great many of you might be not just a wise counselor to somebody, but you as a person, as a very individual, could be very inspiring just by being you. Others might watch you and really love what you're at. And they'll say, how does Aries know how to get to these places? How do they know where they're going? Why do I not know this? Let's follow Aries. They seem to know where the hell everything's going. So you'll be inspiring them. But you'll be a great leader. And like I said, once you step out and become a great leader and inspire other people, there will always be those asshole detractors. And I don't need to tell you any more about that. We've talked about it. Don't take the bait, baby. Now, here's a moment in June where you're feeling very overburdened, pressured, too much going on at once. Yeah, you know where you want to go. You have a future dream, future plans, and you know where you see yourself. But suddenly those future plans are becoming a bit heavy to carry. They're heavy, but they're worth continuing with. I mean, this guy, at any given point, he can turn around and he can drop the things that he's doing. These are supposed to be weapons, and he's supposed to be bringing these weapons to a city, to attack it, to claim the throne of a city, but he's carrying this heavy load and working towards his success. But the more things he accumulates, the more information, the better he moves towards his moment of success. He's more weighed down, but he's also more prepared. It's a funny balance. He's weighed down by what he has, but he has so much that it's worth carrying and worth continuing with. So don't panic if you feel under pressure or overburdened with anything, Aries, because you're well able for this. You're really well able for this. And like I said, if there's any cloudiness in your mind at the moment and any fear, doubt and insecurity, don't let that become a burden too that stresses you out. You've got this. You'll figure this out. Be gentle. Now here is this gorgeous card. The new moon in Gemini in your 3rd house, communicating, and then Venus also that same day moving into Leo, into the place of your heart's desires, the things that just give you so much joy and pleasure. So you'll be communicating with a great sense of joy and pleasure on the 13th. Some of you could be getting married. And if you are, congratulations. Well, at least a lot of you are doing something really nice this month that just makes your heart burst with pride and burst with happiness. Something certainly to do with your career and to do with the things that you're very, very passionate about, Aries. That despite all the subtle, strange energies, you get it, you're moving forward, and you feel like you're just on the cusp of really breaking through and being able to celebrate that. But like I said, there's a little bit of work to do with Mars going retrograde there in the 11th house. This guy knows he has an investment for his future. He has planted the seeds and now they're growing. And this is the moment where he looks down and says, what needs to happen here? Do I need to cut some things? Do I need to move some things? Do I need to water? How do I need to make this garden grow better? So it's a moment of examining and really taking a close look at your progress in general, particularly with your finances and especially with your dreams, hopes and desires for the future. You want the big money. You want the big recognition. And you're getting there, Aries. You really are. And the more you share effectively, not overshare. There's a difference between sharing information and stumbling your words and oversharing and then going, oh man, what have I done? Be gentle. Just share what needs to be shared in a humorous and light way, and that will give you an opportunity to see what needs to stay and what needs to go. You'll be better able to do that. But here's you. We're coming towards the end of the month, and even though, like I said, Mars is going retrograde, the Sun will be there in your 4th house. So you'll just be feeling more secure towards mid-month, end of the month, happier in yourself. You feel like you're able once again to begin trusting the process. You'll certainly feel stronger in yourself. And there might be a moment where others, when they're baiting you, here's how they might bait you. You might have a false sense of security where you come out and not exaggerate, but make yourself a little bit too loud all at once. And that would be very easy to make you look like a fool if you do that. This guy is cocky. This guy is cocksure. And I want you to be quietly sure, quietly confident, quietly in a good zone in yourself, and not depending too much on the feedback, but either positively or negatively, of other people, because that's how you can get hooked, have that sense of cockiness, but quiet. Because what we don't want your mouth to make all the noise. We want your success to make all the noise, baby. That's key here. Quiet, quiet. Let your success make the big noise, baby. Now here we have you again balancing. Some of you might be borrowing or lending money or be in a position towards the end of the month where you have to ask for some financial assistance, or somebody might come to you for financial assistance. But you'll be kind of watching your money, kind of knowing, you see, you've had the moment where you are trying to grow something, you're trying to see it come to fruition, you're trying to make it arrive at a point where it can be harvested. But yet, you know, once you take these couple of steps back, you might say, I need to invest a little bit more money in what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, but you might have to choose a more expensive option for something. You might have to not cut corners with something. Even if it involves borrowing a small bit of money to make that happen, then you probably should make that happen. If there's things that need to be upgraded, technology, even a car or something that you'll use in order for your future success to happen, do your best to get the best and to make that happen. And like I said, if borrowing money needs to be a thing, then it might be worth it, but just don't borrow the kind of money that makes you stay awake at night, okay, Aries? Borrow only the type of money that you know you can pay back, because you've enough to be frickin' worrying about than debts, all right? But this is certainly you coming to a point of balance too with your sense of inner security, your inner purpose. You're weighing things up, seeing which is the best route. And there could be a moment where you're offered different routes, different avenues, or somebody might say if you're working in communication or on social media doing something similar to this, somebody could say, oh, you're really good, why don't you come and join me doing this, blah, 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 and do a partnership or do it this. It's probably not the right time yet, Aries, to do stuff like that. Just work quietly, work slowly, keep your head down and keep your focus. Now here's a gorgeous card. You have 2 10s. You have the 10 of Wands and now the 10 of Swords. So you are ending great karmic cycles, because, you know, these are endings cards. Ending the pressures and the burdens as we go through June, and towards the end of June, ending a period, a long period, where there was pain, great pain, deep psychological pain. Maybe a lot of you have been hanging on to some old sufferings, old hurts that you just couldn't let go of. And it's a great opportunity now in June for you to begin the closing process of this, to begin putting this to rest by sharing how you feel, sharing what has happened with a professional, maybe, with somebody who has skill. Remember, Gemini season, this is all about skill. Sharing these deep hurts with a skilled therapist. And I know, like I said, there are many of you who are now becoming therapists, people going into the healing arts. Don't forget, when you're looking after people, make sure that you also have somebody looking after you. This is also key for you, Aries. It won't work if you're putting all your energy into taking care of other people. You have to find somebody who listens to you and also allows you to let off steam and speak and pull out some of that old garbage and trash that needs to be removed from your psyche so that you can move on and let it go. Certainly some things to do with your self-esteem. Aries, a great many of you could have left a long period, maybe it happened years ago, whenever it happened, but a relationship either with your family, with a lover, or with somebody affected you very deeply, or a situation that happened in your life. It affected you in a way that you believed you'd never really get over it. But June is the promise now of you beginning to let that go, surrender it, and get over it, so that it doesn't keep hurting your sense of self-value and self-esteem. That's it. Something happened that really knocked your self-esteem and self-confidence so much that you thought, I will never, ever, ever be able to get over this. And June is allowing you to get over this. Here's the 9 of Wands. The the moment where you again see, you recognize that this month is a bit stop and start. You're pushing towards your dreams and then you're being pushed back, like we've discussed. But there will be a point where you'll say, oh man, this is becoming hard work. This is a lot harder than I thought it would be when I started out. And it's tough. And I'm feeling a little bit trapped by the thing that was supposed to give me freedom. And maybe if it's down to people too, some of you might be feeling a little bit trapped by people or situations who had once promised you a type of freedom in your life. And now that there's so many big shake-ups in your own sense of self-worth and self-confidence, that you might be saying, I need to clean up anything in my life that is making me feel trapped or hemmed in, or that makes me feel like I've got to keep pushing too hard. And there will be a moment at the end of the month where you'll kind of get it. You'll say, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going towards my future and keep pushing with it. And even though it's hurting like hell, I recognize that it is actually going somewhere, even though there's stops and starts and forwards and backwards. And why should you keep pushing forward? Because the star is your last card, Aries. The star is all about your future, your vision for the future, psychic visions. Let's not forget, Aries, you've got Neptune retrograding in the 12th house. Some of you have thought you lost your skill and talent of being able to tune into people or tap into people. People suddenly became a freaking mystery to you, and you're like, where is my psychic sense gone? My spidey senses have gone. I'm lost without them. But the end of the month, you have it back. You have it all. You're able once again to see your future with a great sense of hope. You're able to trust that what you're doing is the right thing for you, that you're on the right path. And I know that Mars going retrograde in Aquarius. This is the Aquarius card in your 11th house. Like I said, it may feel daunting and it may make you feel so insecure at times when you feel you've lost the thread, lost your direction. But this last card is saying, I'm still here. You haven't lost me. I promise by the end of all this, your hopes, dreams and visions are still here. It's just a process, baby. It's just what you need to do in order to become strong enough to swim upstream to meet me and to arrive at my feet, so I can bestow you and bless you with all the magic that sits in the 11th house. It's magic. It's the heavens. And I mean, she's also a messenger, very mercurial style, a messenger of the gods. And she is the messenger between the heavens and the depths, or heaven and earth. And she is saying, keep swimming, baby, keep going. Because I'm here when you arrive. I'll be waiting for you. And the last card, just to confirm that, Aquarius, Mars going retrograde in Aquarius. By the end of all of this, Aries, you are going to feel so more like you. You're going to feel so empowered, so in control, so confident. This is what I love, Aries. This is what I love about this. At the end of the month, you're going to feel... I'm actually sorry, there was a moment I just got a bit emotional about that, because you're feeling more empowered and in a way that you haven't felt in fucking years, excuse my language. You haven't felt it in years. You've swum upstream, you've done the cosmic karmic keep fit class, and you surrendered to it and said, I don't know what the hell you guys up there are doing, but I just trust you. I trust that you know what you're doing. And they did know what they're doing, and you end up feeling so empowered. You're stronger at the end of the month. There's a full moon in Capricorn in the 10th house, your career, all of the shit that's going to be happening, and a lot of it's a very subtle shit. is going to leave you at the end of the month if you don't take the bait of people who are trying to make you feel less than. If you don't take that bait, keep your mouth closed and let your success do all the talking. At the end of the month, that's exactly what's going to happen. Your success is just going to be the one that's making all that big noise now. Aries, I love it. I love it. And I'm going to leave it there. But I'm very, very, very happy for you that you're going to be able to navigate through this and come out fighting frickin' fit. Proud of you, Aries. And I want to say this too. Every sign is going through difficulties. Every single sign. And it always amazes me that you're going through some very, very long-term difficult shit. Long-term stuff that has crushed you and that has brought you to your knees, not only to your knees, but to the ground like this guy. And you're so used to, after so many years being like him, you're so used to expecting nothing. You're so used to being hurt. You're so used to being disappointed that you don't complain anymore. It's almost like you've begun to expect that that's the default setting. And yet you keep going, you keep trusting. This is why this is why I get emotional with your cards, because you're just this soul that keeps trusting, even though you're knocked back time and time again. And what I love now is that you're coming up. It's taken time, Aries. We know it doesn't happen over 1 month, but it's progress. And you're rising, and I get so angry at the idea now that as you're really beginning to rise, that there are people who are wanting to trap you in the month of June and snag you because they fear you. They haven't seen a fish like you in a long time. They don't know what you are, who you are. You're an unknown thing that's just arrived, and you're shiny and sparkly, and it freaks the fuck out of them. And the idea that they're going to try to put you back here again. No. You see, that's why luck is on your side. Your opening card is luck being on your side. Because I'm actually getting emotional, because you never complain, Aries. You never complain. You just keep trusting. And we can all take a lesson from that. All of us. Because when you keep trusting, you end up being in your full power. If we could all be like that, if we could all trust that, if everybody could do that without complaining like you. But I'll say this too, there's a difference between not complaining and holding shit in that now needs to come out. So remember the difference here. Remember that that's also something you'll be weighing up. What do I need to hold in and hold my dignity and blah, 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 and what now needs to be released. Okay? But Aries, I love you so much, and I'm going to leave it at that. If this is the first time watching my videos, then please subscribe. Come to my Facebook page, She Bear Tarot. I'm on Twitter and Instagram too. And come back next month so we can see what's continuing on this great Aries journey. And don't forget, Aries, really, you are loved and you are being cheered on, definitely. And don't let the bastards get you down, okay? I love you so much, Aries. Mwah. See you next month.